Hatton Garden sold certainty in small, expensive shapes. Behind glass and buzzers, metal became reassurance. Rings, bars, chains. Coins sealed in plastic like they were too clean for skin. Outside, Holborn traffic dragged past in gray lines. Commuters stepping over chewing gum and litter with the same indifference as always. Inside, every gram mattered. Golden Touch did not start as a monster. Golden Touch started as a man trying to clear debts that arrived faster than wages. The power arrived in an assay back room that smelled of solvent and burnt dust. The multiverse fracture had already made London feel slightly out of sync. Card readers rebooting, timestamps jumping, CCTV exports returning with clip gaps that technicians call firmware. In the lab, the glitch landed mid-test and turned a normal sample into a sudden impossibility. A fingertip brushed metal. The metal became more metal than metal, dense and final. The conversion spread through the contact point with a quiet decisiveness, like gravity choosing a direction. Golden Touch pulled back too late, staring at a patch of gold that had not existed a second earlier. The first experiment happened at home because fear demanded proof. A cheap spoon turned gold at a light touch, then bent under its own new weight. A phone case became gold-plated with a controlled skim that stopped short of killing the device. The power felt adjustable, like pressure on a trigger that could be learned. The first sale felt like relief. A small gold-coated object went into a pawn shop off Tottenham Court Road, carried in a tote like lunch. The staff member tested it, nodded, and paid out cash with tired suspicion. The cash did not solve life, but it made breathing easier for a week. Breathing easier became appetite. Golden Touch started working the city like a map of opportunities. Scrap yards, cash for gold counters, private buyers who asked fewer questions. A thin coat of gold over cheap metal produced quick profit without immediate headlines. The intensity control became the moral excuse. Coding, not converting. Profit, not murder. Then the consequences of mass arrived. A gold-coated object weighed wrong in a bag. A stairwell step felt heavier. A tote strap bit deeper into skin. Gold was wealth only when measured in numbers, not carried on a shoulder at night. A mistake happened on a bus. The bus lurched near King's Cross, and a hand shot out to steady against a pole. Bare skin met bare metal for a fraction of a second. The pole flashed into gold like a photograph overexposed. The weight change hit the floor fittings and joints. Screws groaned. The pole sagged slightly, dragging its mounts. Passengers laughed at the odd bend, then stopped laughing when the driver braked and the pole tore free with a shriek of metal. No one died. A woman bruised ribs. A child screamed. A passenger filmed the scene, and the footage later stuttered at the exact moment the pole changed, cutting out 10 seconds like a missing tooth. City life absorbed it as one of those things. London always did, until money got involved. In Hatton Garden, a bullion dealer noticed the first real anomaly. Bars that tested pure, but carried microscopic layering patterns like growth rings. The mass variances did not match the stamps. The dealer rang an insurer. The insurer opened an incident pack. A new line appeared on the email footer. Crowell Applied Systems, Materials Integrity Resilience. Golden Touch did not know the name yet. Golden Touch only felt the city turning watchful. The second mistake carried blood. A mugging attempt happened in a quiet cut-through near Farringdon Station. The sort of alley that looked safe until it wasn't. Two lads stepped in close with confidence built from habit. Hands empty but voices sharp. One grabbed the tote. Golden Touch reacted like any cornered animal. A palm hit a forearm. The forearm turned gold mid-grab. The conversion did not stop at skin. It ran through bone and tendon with the same final certainty. The lad's eyes widened into pure shock, mouth opening around a scream that came too late. The yawn locked in place, heavy and dead, dragging the body off balance. The second lad bolted. Golden Touch ran too, leaving a human statue slumped against brickwork in a pool of rainwater, the gold arm gleaming under a streetlight like a cruel trophy. Ambulance response arrived fast and useless. Paramedics tried cutting clothing, tried tourniquets, tried shouting questions. The gold did not bleed. The gold did not yield. The patient went into shock anyway, because the brain still understood loss. The case moved to City of London police when insurance and precious metals got mentioned. That shift in jurisdiction brought a different tone, quieter voices, faster paperwork, better cameras. CCTV requests went out to nearby businesses. Exports came back with the same odd corruption, the same 10-second gaps around critical moments. Investigators called it technical. Investigators still looked for patterns, because patterns were all that remained. Golden Touch started wearing gloves all the time. Gloves became paranoia. Paranoia became isolation. Isolation made the power feel louder, because silence did not contain guilt. A new offer arrived in a controlled place, a cafe near Barbican, chosen for sightlines and cameras. 2 people sat with clean shoes, calm expressions, visitor badges that looked too neutral to be real. The badges read Cromwell Applied Systems. Cromwell did not accuse. Cromwell presented options. Cromwell described the ability as a conversion event and suggested controlled environments, secure facilities, protective equipment, target lists limited to inanimate assets. Cromwell promised money and protection. Cromwell promised to keep the police narrative pointed elsewhere. The condition came second: ownership. Refusal formed immediately. Ownership was a cage with better lighting. Cromwell slid a thin folder across the table. Inside sat, still from CCTV, a map of known pawnshop visits and a lab purchase record tied to the assay back room. The folder ended with an insurer memo referencing potential homicide by anomaly, exposure. The trap closed with paperwork again, the same way it always closed in England. Golden Touch left the cafe and walked fast through Holborn, avoiding reflections in shop windows, avoiding hands brushing strangers, avoiding the sensation that every surface had become a weapon. A glove tore slightly at a fingertip seam, and panic rose sharp enough to taste. At a pedestrian crossing, a shoulder bumped accidentally in the crowd. Golden Touch recoiled. The other person turned to complain, then froze when a streetlight reflected off a gold smear spreading across a jacket zip for a split second before stopping. People noticed. Phones came out. Someone shouted, "Fake!" Someone else shouted, "Run!" London did what it always did when it could not agree on reality. It turned into a crowd. Golden Touch pushed through bodies and felt the power pulling toward release, drawn by the presence of gold in nearby shops, drawn by the scent of stability that gold seemed to promise. The thought landed with terrifying clarity. The city contained enough gold to turn a man into something harder than regret. Cromwell did not need to chase forever. Cromwell only needed patience, contracts, and the certainty that scarcity always made people reachable. Watch the next episode to see how Cromwell's incident dashboard highlights a map pin over Hatton Garden, now labeled Conversion Risk, Asset Acquisition Pathway. If you like this story, hit the like button and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.